one of my favorite things that John says is in John chapter 3 and verse 29. And he describes himself as the friend of the bridegroom. Now, today we have, a best man. A groom has a best man. And it's different, but according to that Jewish tradition, they'd had this idea of there was a friend of the bridegroom. He wasn't called a best man, but he kind of had some responsibilities.
Right.
And so, for instance, what would often happen is the groom would go and prepare a home for his bride and his new family. And so he would go off, maybe it was in a different country or maybe it was a different place, but he was, focused on that. That's what he has to do. But somebody had to take care of his betrothed during that time. And so there was the friend of the bridegroom. And he actually cared for. Now, I mean, try to put yourself in that position today. Like, who would you leave, your fiance with while you went and built a house somewhere? And so that's basically what John is. And he is, while, Jesus is coming, he is kind of making things ready and being there with, those people that are to be wed to him.
When we start talking about John the Baptist, we get lost in the weeds of who he really was, I believe. And I think that he played a much bigger role, but I think if you had asked him, he would have said, "You don't even need to put me in the Bible. I don't want to be in it." That's the attitude he had.
I think you're right.
Maybe I just think that was because he was all about Jesus, and that's why he called himself the friend of the bridegroom, because he was all about the bridegroom. He was all about Jesus. Anything he did was, how am I bringing people to him and preparing the way for him? And I think that a lot of people, we get lost in the weeds of who he really was, but that's the voice crying in the desert was what he was.